Hello, welcome to the second episode of the Slappy podcast. I'm sorry if I look distracted or I sound distracted. You can't see me. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You can't see me. I'm reading about Hurricane Milton news because that's in my area. So today I want to talk about something that happened a little bit recently. I want to say recently. I don't want to say like last week or anything in between. Just because it happened a little while ago. And my sense of time has been completely warped. Just because like it feels like time is going slower, which is definitely a good thing. It's not like slower in a bad way, but slower in a good way. But I'm off track. What do I want to talk about? Well, a little while ago, I went to a convention. Generally, I don't go to conventions. I'm not the convention-going type. But Tom Ruegger was at a convention in my local area, so I decided, hey, it'd be a good use of a Saturday, going to a con. So I went to a con. And the con was fine. I saw some people I knew, and the costumes are always cool. But I don't like the concept of spending money to spend more money. That's kind of what a con is. But if you like cons, more power to you. They're just not my thing. So I went over to the con to meet Tom Ruegger. This was the second con I met Tom Ruegger. I met Tom Ruegger at a con near Orlando. That was my first time. But this was my second time, and a little fun fact about me and meeting Tom Ruegger is if I go to a con and Tom Ruegger is there, I'll generally wear a Slappy t-shirt, to let him know that I used to run Daily Dose of Slappy. If you didn't know that, I guess that's a bit of superb lore. But regardless, I wear Slappy merchandise just so that he can recognize me. And whoopee-doo, Joey from Animaniacast, who was there, he helps Tom Ruegger a lot at these cons, recognized me immediately with the help of my shirt, but also with my face, because my face is very unforgettable. I said that like Dot. But anyway, so I met Tom Ruegger for the second time a little while ago, and I was really just expecting to say hi and like get a signed poster of Skippy and Slappy, because fun fact, that poster that I got signed at that con is like it's about an arm's length and a half away from me right now. I'm looking right at it, but of course you can't see it. You just have to imagine that it's like an arm's length away. But regardless, so I went over there, I was expecting just to buy a thing, and I was just expecting to leave. But before we go, Tom is like, he's doing his little drawings, at his booth, cause he's like taking commissions, I think. He takes one of his, drawing pieces of paper that's blank, and he tears it in half, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Like, isn't that a waste of paper? But, fun fact, he gave me the other half, and he gave me one of his drawing pens. And he said, I want you to write a letter to Sherry Stoner. Now, of course, being the number one Slappy fan on the internet, self-proclaimed, I was completely out of my mind when I heard this. My heart was just completely racing, because getting the chance to write to the creator of your favorite character is not something that happens every day. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. And so I wrote the letter. It actually took me about 15 minutes to write that letter, because I felt a lot of pressure. I was with a friend of mine, and my friend was like, bro, it's a letter. Just like, don't think too hard about it. But in all honesty, I felt the pressure of the entire Animaniacs community on my shoulders. Not because like I was speaking for the entire Animaniacs community. I was speaking for myself, but I wanted to set a good precedent for the Animaniacs community by showing that we have respect for the creators and we don't want to harass actors, creators. We don't want to do that. So I tried to make my letter as polite as possible. and as acknowledging of the fact that, Sherry Stoner doesn't owe any of us to come to any cons. Like, she doesn't owe me anything as a fan. So I tried to represent that. So I wrote the letter, I signed it, I did all that. And so I went back to the booth. And at the booth, Tom read it over. He proofread it. Thank goodness. I didn't say anything bad, but it's good that he proofread it just to check me. And so he was like, why didn't you put your email on there? And I was like, you want me to put my email on there? Like, I was going into the mindset of like, I was never going to get a response to this, because honestly, I wasn't expecting a response. In actuality, I didn't really want a response. Well, I did want a response, but I didn't want to set the precedent that I was expecting a response. So, but since Tom said, put your email on there, I put my email on there. And he said he was going to deliver it to Sherry Stoner, and he was going to reply to me with the reply. And so I was like, oh, that's going to be exciting. So in about a week's time after that, I got a response from Tom Ruger. He emailed me, and he was like, hey, this is Sherry's response. And I won't say what Sherry said, because I don't know if that's like overstepping my boundaries to talk about that, but it was really nice to hear what she said. She didn't say too much, not like a ton, but I'm not complaining. Don't take that the wrong way. I am not complaining about the fact that she didn't say a lot. Trust me, when the fact that she even replied was good enough for me. Like, it literally could have said, dear Superb, never talk about Slappy ever again, and I would have been like, yay, Sherry Stoner replied to me. Like, that's how happy I would have been. But I'm glad it didn't say that. But I got that response, and that was a very good day. That was an awesome day. Just to read that, little letter. But yeah, that was just something awesome that happened in my life. And, I want to say to anyone who is a fan of anything, the moral of the story is, if you're a fan of anything, whether it be, Star Wars or the most obscure cartoon ever made, just remember, be respectful. Be respectful to the creators. Be kind. Be nice. Be a good person, because you don't want to overstep your boundaries when it comes to being a fan. I always want to emphasize this when I talk about this. The only time I have talked about this was with personal friends who knew I did this, but now, since I'm posting it online, I have a bigger responsibility, and so I'm going to use that responsibility to say this. Even though I have been very dedicated to Slappy, and I love Slappy Squirrel, by no means does me being a fan justify getting a response from the creator. The only reason I got a response was because they wanted to give a response. And honestly, as a fan, you have to be content with the idea that they don't have to respond to you. Like, yeah, Sherry Stoner had no obligation to respond to me, but she did. And I love that, and I think that's awesome, but, that didn't have to happen. Nor did Tom Ruger have to give me the ability to write a letter to her and get into semi-communication with her. That is not something that you get. That's not something you deserve as a fan. You shouldn't expect that from anybody who you're a fan of. And the reason why I'm saying this is because now that I have gotten a response from the creator of Slappy Squirrel, I want you to say that don't force anybody to be in contact with you. That's not the right way to go about that. And as someone who needs to say this, just don't harass people. Make a fandom safe. If you have the people in a fandom be nice, kind, loving people, the creators are going to be more willing to interact with their fan base, right? So I want to set a precedent for the entirety of people who want Sherry Stoner or the voice actors to, any voice actor of any fandom to I want to set a precedent to be kind, be respectful, and remember they don't owe you anything. The only thing they owe you is something that you pay for. So like, if you pay like $30 for an autographed thing, yeah, that they kind of need to give you your autograph because that would just be thievery. But like they're not required, nor they're not obligated to do what they did for me. So I want to set a precedent for that. In all honesty, I'm actually a bit nervous posting this video because I don't know if I should put this out into the world, because I don't want to encourage people going to cons and asking Tom Ruger for his email so he can write to Sherry Stoner. Like, don't do that. Please don't do that. But yeah, so that was just a cool thing that happened in my life, and I wanted to share it. Am I going to share it? Well, if it's on YouTube, I did. I ultimately made that choice. But yeah, I'm glad that I've done that with Slappy. I hope one day Sherry Stoner will come to a con and I get to meet her. But if that day doesn't come, I'm okay with that. Anyways, peace. Have a good life, everybody. Stay safe.